inspire you to think big. Inspiration begins with your major. We offer over 150 majors in 11 different academic communities. So there's something for everyone to fit a wide variety of career goals and interest areas. So at this time, I'm going to launch another poll. And I just want to hear what interest you have at this point. And so you should be seeing a poll come up on your screen here in just a moment. So you'll see all of those 11 different academic communities listed here in that poll. So I would like you to tell me what college you are most interested in joining on campus. So I'll give you a few moments to take a look and cast your vote. We do have the Division of General Studies for students that are not sure exactly what major they want to pursue on campus. That may be a good fit, and we can definitely talk a little bit more about that academic community here in just a moment. But I'll give you a few other moments to go on ahead and share your interests. Okay, great. It looks like a majority of people have voted, so I'm going to go on ahead and end the poll. So it looks like we have a lot of different interests, which is great. So it looks like we have interests within our College of Applied Health Sciences. That's great. A few interests within the Geese College of Business, the Granger College of Engineering, and Liberal Arts and Sciences. Great. Okay, excellent. Okay, so Lauren went on ahead and put a link to our Program Explorer, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. But whatever you choose to study, your degree will be highly respected. I do encourage you to take a look at that Program Explorer. And again, Lauren has put that in the chat. So if you want to take a look at that, bookmark it. This is a wonderful resource that's housed on our admissions website. So this is a great tool to dig a little deeper into our majors and learn more about them and the opportunities within each major. I do encourage you to explore majors across all colleges as well to ensure you're not missing out on a major that fits your interests. So, for example, I know a few of you had indicated interest within our Granger College of Engineering. So you probably have some engineering interests, which is great. We do have many of our engineering programs housed within the Granger College of Engineering, but also keep in mind there's some engineering related programs outside that college that may be a great fit for you. So, for example, we have chemical engineering within our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences because it has that strong chemistry focus. So that is not within the Granger College of Engineering, but still is an engineering based major. We also have what's called Computer Science Plus programs. So those are scattered across different academic communities on campus wherever that plus factor is held. So for example, we have computer science plus advertising within our College of Media, computer science plus linguistics within our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, just to name a few. So that's just an example of why it's really key to take a look at that Program Explorer, just to look across all colleges on our campus, just to ensure you're not missing out on a major that actually may fit and align with your interest areas. I also saw that we had some interest within our Geese College of Business, which is great. We do have a lot of our business programs within our Geese College of Business, but we also have some programs outside that college that may be a great fit. So, for example, we have economics within Liberal Arts and Sciences. We have financial planning within our College of Agricultural, Consumer, and Environmental Sciences. So that's just another example. That Program Explorer, like I said, is a great tool to look across all colleges, get a great description of the program, see classes that you would potentially take with that program of study. So that's a great tool as you're trying to figure out what major that may be a great fit for you, or maybe you have no idea and want to explore. That's a great tool for you to utilize. We also have the Division of General Studies, the undeclared program. So if you're unsure about what you want to study in college, we do have that program within the Division of General Studies that really allows students to explore a little longer on campus before declaring a major. Something to note with our Division of General Studies is that you cannot graduate from DGS. You have to declare a major by the start of your junior year. I will say about 25% of our incoming students start out in the Division of General Studies. So you're definitely not alone if you're still needing to explore a little longer on campus before declaring a major. Something also to note with our application process when you are applying to a major, so you'll apply directly to a specific major. So specific to kinesiology. You'll apply specifically to economics, for an example. And if you're admitted, you'll be admitted to that specific major. The only exception is the Geese College of Business. So you would apply as business unassigned if you're interested in any one of the majors that falls under the Geese College of Business. So you would come in, if admitted, as a business unassigned student, and then you would be able to declare your major within that college by the end of your sophomore year. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that process a little further. If you do have questions about any of our majors, feel free to go on ahead and put them in the Q&A, and I'll do my best to answer those towards the end of the presentation. You'll draw inspiration from your classes and your professors. We offer over 7,000 classes each year. Even though our university is large, you will have smaller class sizes. As you can see here on the screen, about 80% of our classes have fewer than 50 students. If you do have a large lecture class, just know that those are always broken down into discussion sections, again, to provide those smaller class sizes for our students, so you can really get to know your classmates and your professors a little bit better. Our professors are award-winning and contribute groundbreaking ideas to their fields. You will have direct access to them for opportunities and support, and they'll constantly motivate you through their passion and knowledge. We have an 18-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio, and all professors hold office hours every week that we encourage students to utilize. And this is really a great opportunity to get support in your classes outside the classroom, as well as learn about research your professors are doing. Again, they're really doing groundbreaking work in their field, so it's always a great opportunity to learn about those projects as well. Okay, inspiration extends beyond the classroom into research, study abroad, and internships. As you can see here on the screen, about 30% of Illini do decide to study abroad. We have over 380 study abroad programs in more than 60 countries, and it's really a great opportunity for students to grow personally, culturally, and professionally. Something to note with studying abroad is that it doesn't delay graduation, and the costs are comparable to studying at Illinois. And what's really great about study abroad is that you can pick a program that aligns with kind of the time frame that you want to take part in the study abroad experience. So you can choose to study abroad for a full semester or over a break. So a lot of opportunities when it comes to studying abroad. Illinois is among the nation's research powerhouses, and so if you're interested in doing research, Illinois is a great place for that. We have a lot of different research opportunities, and so I would love to hear from you. If you don't mind using the raise your hand feature, if research is something that you're looking for in a university or college that you want to attend. Okay, perfect. I see a few hands being raised. Excellent. Okay, great. So like I said, we are a research powerhouse, really fueling new ideas, new companies, and even new industries, and undergraduate students are a large part of that. Research spans all disciplines, so it's not just for students in science-focused majors, and it really does have an interdisciplinary focus. You'll be able to work with students across different disciplines, which I think is really great as well. We do have an Office of Undergraduate Research on campus to help you find opportunities in your area. So if you're really not sure where to start, you know you want to get involved in research, but not really sure kind of where to go, how to look for that, that's a wonderful resource for our students on campus. And so you can really explain what you're looking for in a research opportunity, and then they can help match you with one or direct you to some different opportunities that would be available to you on campus. Something also to note with research is that you can do research right away starting freshman year. So it's not just for upperclassmen or graduate students. if you want to take part in research your first year on campus, you can do that, and there would be opportunities for you to explore that on campus. Okay, so Lauren has put in a couple different resources to kind of learn a little bit more about these opportunities. So she put a link to our undergraduate research page along with our study abroad page as well to take a look at. Okay, kind of going along with research as well, we do have the Research Park on campus, which has over 120 different companies. And so this is on the southwest side of campus near our athletic facilities. And so like I said, there's over 120 companies located at this research park. So it houses Fortune 500 companies as well as student startups. And there are many opportunities for jobs and internships. So if that's something that you're wanting to pursue on campus, there are opportunities within the research park. This is a different type of research than what you would get working with a professor, for example. This is really focused more on corporate research for business development. So a great way, to apply what you're learning in the classroom to these different research opportunities. Like I said, our students are involved in research, study abroad, internships, but you won't just be involved when it comes to your education. You'll be active and engaged socially too, and this balance sets the Illinois experience apart. You can choose to get involved in any of the many events and activities offered on campus and within the community. We are a part of the Big Ten Conference, so we have Big Ten sports here on our campus. So even if you're really not a huge sports fan, the energy that exists on game days is something to experience. There are many cheering sections that you can be involved in if you like to go to these sporting events. For example, we have the Block I for football, we have the Spike Squad for volleyball, Orange Crush for basketball. So a great way to be a part of that community and cheer on our student athletes. We also have many intramural and club sports that students can join. So maybe you're involved in athletics in high school, or maybe you just enjoy doing that in your free time and would like to continue that into college. There's definitely opportunities when it comes to intramural and club sports. So we have about 30 intramurals and around 40 club sports that students can take part in. And so intramurals are a little more laid back, whereas club sports have more of a time commitment involved. There may be some tryouts, some travel, but there are many opportunities to still continue those athletics into college. We also have many leadership opportunities. So leadership is something that future employers are going to want to see. So we have opportunities to really grow in this area. We have the Illinois Leadership Center on campus where you can earn a leadership certificate. We offer a leadership minor that you can add on to your major program of study, as well as you can hold leadership positions within our registered student organizations. So we have more than 1,800 different registered student organizations on our campus that students can take part in. And these groups relate to pretty much anything you can imagine. So there's a wide variety of activities that you can take part in and really create that community here on campus. And we encourage you to take part in some of these organizations to enhance your college experience. So we encourage you to get involved in something that is related to your program of study or your future career goal, because they oftentimes bring in guest speakers. They talk about trends in the fields. You can interact with students with a similar program of study or career goal interest. So we definitely encourage students to take part in some of those, as well as we encourage you to continue doing what you're doing in high school. I know many of you are involved in different extracurricular activities while in high school. We don't want you just to leave those behind. We want you to continue those on into college. So I definitely encourage you to browse through our over 1,800 different registered student organizations, and you're bound to find something that's related to what you're doing in high school. And we want you to continue those into college, as well as just trying something new, something you've never done before. And so Lauren put in the chat a link to our registered student organizations page. So like I mentioned earlier, you can browse through this website to get a sense of the different opportunities that would be available to you on campus to join. When your student body is made up of such passionate, engaged individuals, it does show. Our campus is a dynamic, exciting place to be, and it's the reason we're ranked one of the top college towns in the nation. Champaign-Urbana is a vibrant, innovative community where you have access to the many perks of big city living, but still with that small town feel. Students can take advantage of two distinct downtown areas. So we have one downtown area in Champaign, the other in Urbana, in addition to Campus Town, which is in the heart of campus. So there's a lot of great things to go out and try and experience. We have a mini shopping. We have a lot of shopping within those areas. We have great restaurants to get out and try, and just a lot of community events throughout the school year that students like to take part in. So we have the Roger Ebert Film Festival that happens in the spring. We have the Urbana Sweet Corn Festival that happens in the fall. So a lot of great community events as well that we encourage students to take part in and experience. Everything is very accessible within Champaign-Urbana. We have a great public transportation system. So you really don't even need a car on campus to get around comfortably. So we have a great bus system that has routes throughout not only campus, but Champaign-Urbana. So if you ever need to get across campus for a meeting, it's very accessible through our bus system. Or if you ever on the weekends need to go out to the grocery store, or maybe you want to go to the downtown area in Champaign or Urbana, it's very accessible for you to do that through our bus system. All you have to do to get on the bus is show your student ID card, and you can utilize any one of those routes throughout the area. Another way your Illinois experience will help you harness your power is by providing an expansive, supportive, family-like community where all students can thrive. Our family is large and diverse. We have a little under 34,000 undergraduate students with an incoming freshman class of around 7,600. We are one of the most diverse, top-ranked Midwest universities, and students on campus represent all 50 U.S. states, and 113 different countries are represented on our campus. Our family is a community, and you're really going to forge friendships here that will last a lifetime. We have 35 different residence halls, which is a great opportunity for you to build that community at Illinois. Like I said, there's 35 different options, and so we have some university housing options. We have about 24 of those, and then we have 11 private certified housing options that students can live in. Okay, and then within university housing, there are what's called living learning communities that you can be a part of. And so these are communities with in-hall courses and specialized programming around a common theme. So we have a living learning community for business. We have one for career exploration. We have one for health professions. We have one for leadership, just as a few examples. So if you're interested in any one of those living learning communities, those are only found through university housing. All freshmen are required to live in university-approved housing, so that could be university housing or private certified housing. So I encourage you to take a look at both websites, and Lauren put those links in the chat. Within these websites, there's great comparison tools, so you can narrow down the options based on really what you're looking for in a residence hall. One option isn't necessarily better than the other. It's more just about your personal preference and what you're looking for in a residence hall and what your priorities are within residence hall. So definitely take a look at those websites for those comparison tools to help you narrow down those options a little further. But again, all freshmen are required to live in either university housing or private certified housing. Our family is supportive, and we really do care about our students, and we're always rooting for you, and we'll give you unwavering support at Illinois. We have over 30 support and cultural centers that are available to you on campus, some of which are listed here on the screen. This is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the support services that we do offer our students. So we do have the Career Center, and so this is a valuable resource for students in their job search process. So they offer opportunities for you to do mock mock interviews. They have a service where they'll have someone review your resume or cover letter. And so those are just some of the services offered through the Career Center. Through this resource, there's also what's called our pre-professional path advising. So if you're interested in going on to medical school or let's see, physical therapy, if you're interested in that, there are pre-professional path advisors within the Career Center that you can be matched with to really make sure that you are taking the right courses, taking the right steps in order to prepare for that professional program after graduating with your undergraduate degrees. So that's another resource that's offered through our Career Center. We also have a counseling center on campus. If you ever need to speak with a counselor, you can reach out to that service. We also have 4 cultural centers on campus that has a lot of great programming. So if you want to learn a little bit more about these support services and what they offer, I definitely encourage you to take a look at the link that's listed here at the bottom of your screen. And then Lauren also put that link in the chat. So if you want to learn a little bit more about those, I definitely encourage you to browse through that website. During your time at Illinois will really help support and cultivate the things that make you unique, empowering you to navigate your individual journey and make your mark on the world. So here is a recent graduate. His name is Tawfiq, and he was an electrical engineering student with a minor in business. He was really passionate about diversity, social impact, and technology. So those are the paths he chose to follow during his time in Illinois. He was involved in many things on campus and took advantage of many different opportunities. He was part of the HOF Technology and Management Program, which is a competitive career-oriented curriculum that fuses business with engineering. He served as the president of the National Society of Black Engineers. He began his own creative digital media startup and interned at four Fortune 100s. He is now working full-time as a program manager at Microsoft and continuing his startup on the side. So like Tawfiq, during your time at Illinois, you'll make your own choices related to your interests and your passions. Your choices will lead to new opportunities, some altogether unexpected. So ultimately, you'll really be able to carve a path that's uniquely yours, reflecting yourself and your goals. So now let's talk about how you can begin to harness your power by applying. So at this time, we will go on ahead and switch gears and talk a little bit more about the application process, what the requirements are, and how we review applications. So before we get started, I know we have some juniors joining us as well as seniors. So just to get a better sense of where the seniors are at within the application process, if you have already submitted your application, if you don't mind using the raise your hand feature. Okay, it looks like a few of you have already submitted applications, which is fantastic. That's great. Okay. I also will note within this section, I know we have some juniors joining us, so some of the information is going to be more geared towards the seniors that are applying for fall 2021 admissions. So just keep that in mind as we're moving throughout this portion of the presentation. I just want to stop here, though, just to make sure we don't have any questions that have come up as we were going through the first half of the presentation. So let me just check that really quick. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any so far. Like I said, if you do have questions about any of the topics that we've discussed so far, or if you have questions as we're moving through this portion of the presentation, feel free to go on ahead and put them in the Q&A, and I'll do my best to answer those as we move along here. Okay. Okay, so first I want to talk about how you can apply to Illinois. So students can apply to Illinois in one of two ways. You can apply through My Illini, which is our homegrown application portal, or you can apply through Coalition, which is a shared admissions application. It doesn't make a difference which one you choose to apply through. We won't give preference for one over the other. We look at the same information regardless of which application portal you choose to apply through. So it's just more about your personal preference. Okay, so in order to apply, you will need to submit the online application for admission along with the application fee or fee waiver. So again, the online application can be found through My Illini or Coalition. And then in order to complete the application, we do need that application fee or fee waiver. So the application fee for domestic students is $50, $75 for international students. We do offer a fee waiver, though. If you feel like you may qualify for an application fee waiver, I definitely encourage you to reach out to your high school counselor, and there is a form that they can submit on your behalf to waive the application fee. If you or your counselor have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to our office, and we're more than happy to assist you through that process and answer any questions you may have about that. Okay, now I want to dig a little deeper into what the online application consists of. So within the application, you will self-report your academic record. So you'll self-report your courses for years 9 through 11, along with what grades you earned in those courses. You will also self-report your year 12 in-progress courses. So we want to know what you're taking senior year. We don't ask for your senior year grades within the application, but we will want to know what you are taking senior year. We want to know that senior year schedule. Okay, you do not need to send any official transcripts when you apply, but I cannot stress this enough. Have a transcript in front of you when you're filling this section out to ensure complete accuracy. Because if you're admitted to the university, you'll then be required to send an official transcript. So when we receive that official transcript, we will want to see that what was originally reported was indeed accurate. So just make sure that you are reporting everything within that section accurately, and just make sure you're copying it exactly as it would appear on an official transcript. Okay, we also oftentimes get the question from students, do we need to have letters of recommendations sent to our office to complete? We are sent to have submitted. Okay, next I want to talk about some dates and deadlines to keep in mind. So we do have the early action filing period. And so for this cycle, for if you are wanting to be considered for fall 2021 admission, the application opened back on September 1st, and we did have an early action deadline of November 15th. Okay, but if you haven't already submitted your application, you still have time to do so. We accept applications all the way until January 5th. Okay, for fall 2021, we are suspending the early action notification, so all decisions will be released in mid-February. So regardless if you apply during the early action filing period, deadline of November 15th, or if you applied after November 15th, all students will hear their decision in mid-February. Okay, but it's really important that we have a completed application along with that application fee or fee waiver by the deadline, that we need both items to complete the application. Okay, so now let's talk about how we review applications. So we do a true holistic review of your application, meaning we look at all aspects that are submitted. So we look at grades and course rigor. We look at test scores. We'll look at extracurricular activities along with the essay. So we'll break each one of these down a little further just to provide some more context. So first and foremost, we look at your academics. So we look at your grades and your coursework. We want to see that you've earned strong grades in your courses and that you've challenged yourself within your high school curriculum. So, you know, if AP courses are offered, honors courses, dual credit opportunities, if those are offered at your school, we want to see that you've taken some of those and challenged yourself. We always review this based on the context of your high school. So what is available to you at your high school, and are you taking advantage of some of those more rigorous course offerings? So that's what I mean by course rigor. Like I said, we want to see that you've earned strong grades in your courses. We'll look at trends in your grades as well. So, if maybe you started off and earned some lower grades freshman year, but those grades have improved with each semester, we would note that. That would be considered an upward trend. We would also look to see if there are any downward trends. So maybe you started off really strong, but those grades have kind of lowered with each semester. We would note that as well. Like I said, that would be considered a downward trend. So grades earned later in high school have more of an impact on an admissions decision than grades earned early on in high school. Of course, we'll look at all grades, but we would see those trends in grades as well. Okay, we will also look at test scores. Now, because current high school seniors have had limited opportunities to take or retake the ACT or SAT, we have made them optional for all fall 2021 freshman applicants. So that is optional if you're applying for fall 2021 admission. Okay, so within the application, there will be a question that asks, do you want your ACT or SAT factored into your application review? So it will be a yes or no question. So keep in mind that you'll really want to think hard about this question before you submit your answer, submit the application, because once you submit the application, you're unable to change your decision to that question. So just really make sure you're really thinking about this before you submit the application. Okay, something to keep in mind with this is that if you choose not to report an ACT or SAT, it doesn't disadvantage you in any way for admission. Okay, so it doesn't disadvantage you if you opt not to submit ACT or SAT test scores. If you do select yes to that question, do you want your ACT or SAT reviewed? There will be a section then that will appear where you'll be able to self-report your test scores. So just like your academic record, we don't need any official reports. We just need them self-reported. So you'll be able to self-report your highest total or composite and then your highest subscores regardless of test date. Okay, something to keep in mind with reporting test scores, we do not super score at Illinois. So you should not recreate a new total or composite based on different test dates. You should just self-report, like I said, the highest total or composite you've received and then the highest subscores that you've received. Okay, if you do have any questions about that, feel free to go on ahead and put them in the Q&A, and I'll do my best to help clarify any questions that you guys have. Okay, so next we also look at extracurricular involvement. So we want to know what you're involved in outside the classroom, what your passions are. So you can list up to 8 extracurriculars within the application and up to 5 honors within the application as well. So when it comes to extracurricular involvement, it can be anything you're doing outside the classroom. So it could be a part-time job that you have. It could be athletics. It could be yearbook club, student council, math club, art club. It could be something that you're doing out in your community. Maybe you volunteer at a local hospital, or maybe you've done some volunteer work in your community. We want to know that information. We want to know what your passions are, what you're doing once you leave the classroom doors. So like I said, you can list up to 8. And so within this section, you'll be able to list the extracurricular activity along with how many years you've been involved in that activity. So have you been involved freshman through senior year, just junior year? You'll be able to indicate that along with your position within that activity. So were you a volunteer? Did you hold some type of leadership position? So you'll be able to indicate that as well. Okay, and then also we take a look at the essay. And we do truly read the essay, so definitely spend some time crafting this and making sure you're fully answering the essay prompt. So on your screen here, you'll be able to see the essay that is used and that you'll need to answer within the application. So basically with the essay, we want to know what you've done recently to explore your interests inside or outside the classroom, along with how this major relates to your career goals. And so it's very important that you fully answer this essay prompt. You have 300 to 400 words to do so, so really make sure you're making every word count. We don't need to see a lot of fluff at the beginning. We just need you to get straight to answering the essay question. And sometimes, we hear students talk about why they want to come to Illinois. That's great information, but really what the essay is getting at is really asking, why do you want to study this particular major? So it's very specific to the major. So like I said in the beginning of this presentation, you're going to be applying directly to a specific major. So you're going to be applying directly to psychology, for example. So how have you come to know that psychology is the major for you? What have you done recently to explore this interest? So has there been a particular course that's really sparked your interest in this program? Has there been a life experience, an extracurricular activity that's really drawn you to this program? We want you to explain that to us in the essay. And really with this essay, we want you to keep it to what you've done recently. So what have you done within the past 4 years? So really keep it current with your essay answer. Okay, and also I just want to give you another piece of advice with the essay. We don't want you just to restate your academic record or restate your extracurricular activity section, because we can see that within the application. Really dig deeper. So for example, sparked your interest in that program was being a part of the robotics club. Don't just say you're a part of the robotics club. Really dig deeper. What about that robotics club really drew you to this major? Really spend some time crafting that. Make sure you leave yourself plenty of time to do so. So that's another piece of advice I have for you. And then with the Division of General Studies, if you're applying to that program, that essay is going to look slightly different just because you're not sure exactly what program you want to apply to. So that essay is going to look a little different, which you can see here on the screen. Okay, students do have the option to select a second choice major within the application, and we do encourage you to do so. So by selecting a second choice, just keep in mind that it doesn't disadvantage you for admission to your first choice. We first and foremost review for that first choice major. It just opens up some additional avenues of admission. So if you're not admissible to that first choice program, we would see if you have listed a second choice. If you've listed a second choice, we would then be able to consider you for that second choice major in all other avenues of admission. It's okay if you only select one major within the application, but just know that would be the only program that you would be reviewed for. So if you're not admissible to that first choice, the review process would stop there and we would be unable to review you for any other program of study on our campus. And like I mentioned earlier, you're applying directly to a specific program. And so if you do opt to add a second choice to your application, you will have to write an additional essay explaining your interest with that particular program of study. Okay? So make sure you leave yourself plenty of time to write that additional essay if you are selecting a second choice. Now, sometimes I get the question from applicants, what if my first choice and second choice major closely aligned? Can I just copy and paste my first choice essay to my second choice essay? So I would discourage you from doing that. You can talk about similar concepts, similar experiences, but again, we really want them to be unique to that specific major. If you do decide to select the Division of General Studies as your second choice major, you won't have to write an additional essay. But if you apply to any other major on campus, you will have to do so. Okay, so now let's talk about the 2020 admitted profile. So these numbers represent the middle 50% of freshmen admitted this past fall, meaning 25% of students were above this range and 25% were admitted below this range. When looking at the GPA, this is based on academic courses only using an unweighted 4.0 scale. So just keep that in mind. You're looking at that GPA. We don't have a set GPA or a set test score needed in order to be admitted. Again, we do a holistic review of your application, but this just gives you an idea in these areas. You can on our website, which is linked at the bottom of this page. So if you want to see the middle 50% data specific to your college of interest, I definitely encourage you to do so through that link there. Application for admission also serves as your application for all honors programs on our campus. There's not an additional form that you have to fill out to be considered for these. We have 3 types of honors programs. So we have the Chancellor Scholars for the top 125 students of the freshman class. We have the James Scholars, which are specific to the college. And then some departments have also created additional honors programs. Now, if you aren't selected for one of these for your freshman year, you can self-nominate in subsequent semesters if you meet certain criteria, and your academic advisor on campus will be a resource to you to talk about that process if that's something that you're wanting to join on campus. So here's a breakdown in the total cost of attendance. So when looking at this, keep in mind that tuition and university housing costs are guaranteed for all 4 years. Tuition can vary depending on the major you're admitted to. So in order to get a better idea of what the total cost of attendance would be, you can visit our cost calculator at cost.illinois.edu, and Lauren will put that website in the chat so you can take a look at that a little later to get a better idea of what the estimated total cost of attendance would be. Okay, next I just want to talk about financial aid. So for consideration for need-based aid, we encourage you to fill out the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA for short, and that opens on October 1st. So if you're a current senior that's looking to apply for fall 2021 admission, that FAFSA is currently open for you to fill out so you are considered for need-based aid. For merit-based scholarships on our campus, all students are automatically considered for those when they submit the application for admission. So there's not an additional form that you would need to submit in order to be considered for merit-based scholarship. Okay, if you have any questions related to financial aid, I definitely encourage you to take a look at our financial aid website or contact their office as well. They're a great resource to answer any questions you may have about that process, any detailed questions that you may have about that. Okay, so also just some other statistics here on the page here. We have the #1 return on investment in the Big Ten, and we are one of the top public universities in the nation. Employers are actively seeking our students because they know they're prepared to succeed at the highest levels. 9,700 unique employers recruited Illini just last year. So we have many career fairs that students can attend to connect with these future employers. And so we have some that are campus-wide career fairs, and then some that are going to be specific to your college. But what's really great about this is that students can go to any one of their career fairs. So if you're a student within the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, you can go to the business career fair, for example. So there's a lot of flexibility for you to meet a wide variety of employers, so you can get your name out there and learn about the opportunities that may be available at their company. I do encourage you to take a look at Illini Success, and Lauren will put that link in the chat here. So this has a lot of great outcome statistics per college, so you can see what graduates have been able to accomplish. So you'll be able to see what the average starting out salary is, what graduate school students are getting into, what companies are hiring students out of a particular college and major. So this is a great resource to kind of hear about that next step after undergraduate here at Illinois. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information. Just know that we are here to help walk you through this process. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out to our office at any time. If you have any questions about our application process or about Illinois, we can answer those questions for you or direct you to an office that would best be able to answer those questions. So our phone number is listed there on the screen. We have admissions counselors on phones Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 Central Time. So if you ever have a question and would like to talk with one of our admission counselors, don't hesitate to give us a call and we would connect you with an admissions counselor to help answer that question. Our website also is a great tool, which is linked there. So that has a lot of great information, a lot more detail in what I've discussed today about our application review process, information about dates and deadlines. So definitely utilize that here on your screen. And then also, if you would like to email us your questions, we have an email address that you can send those questions to, and an admissions counselor will be able to assist you through email. Okay, excellent. So we will go on ahead and start our question and answer. So I'm going to go on ahead and stop sharing the screen here, and I'm going to go on ahead and turn on the cameras. Okay, perfect. So we do have students that are joining us here. Let me go on ahead and get them added here. Okay, so we have Lauren, Xanthi, and Ellie joining us today. And so they'll be able to answer any questions about student life. If you want to hear their perspective on any questions that you may have, definitely don't hesitate to put them in the Q&A and we'll answer those questions. So first off, I just want to go on ahead and have you guys introduce yourselves. So Lauren, if you want to get us started, and then we'll have Xanthi and then Ellie.
Hi guys, my name is Lauren. I am a sophomore in the Early Childhood Education Program here at Illinois, and I'm from Pekin, Illinois. And then when I am not giving tours or working as an iStar, I am also an employee in the rec room in our Illini union. I'm in Illini Service Dogs as a basics trainer. I have an exec position with Illini Pride, and I'm in a social sorority.
Hi everyone, my name is Xanthi. I'm a senior here, majoring in environmental sustainability, which is through our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. I'm from Downers Grove, Illinois, so up in the Chicago suburbs. And other than being a tour guide here on campus, I do research, I'm on a student government committee, and some other cool things.
Hi everyone, my name is Ellie. I'm from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, and I'm a junior studying finance and supply chain management in the Geese College of Business. On campus, I'm involved in the James Scholar Program. I'm in a social sorority, and I'm also in a professional business fraternity.
Okay, excellent. Great. So we will go on ahead and get started here. It looks like we have one question that's come up, which is a great question. How do you apply for minors? So I can talk a little bit, and then if Lauren, Ellie, Xanthi, if you have experience with that process, feel free to go on ahead and jump in. But with the application for admission, when you apply as a freshman, you do not declare a minor within the application. That process happens once you're a student at Illinois. And so what you will do is you'll be able to work with your academic advisor to see if that would be a possibility and learn about that process to add on that minor. And I will go on ahead and put the minors list in the Q&A, or I'm sorry, in the chat, so you can take a look at the different minor offerings that we do offer on campus. But students, do you guys have any experience with adding a minor? Can you talk a little bit about your personal experience with that?
Yeah, so I'm actually in the process of adding a minor. So I'm a junior and there's still time for me to add a minor, which is really nice. The program is pretty flexible. So I'm planning on adding the Global Markets and Society minor, which is through the Division of Global Studies. So the process for adding a minor varies depending on the minor. For example, for mine, it's just a written application, then you need to meet with an advisor. So you can see some of the specific requirements once they send that link out. But there's so many different minors that you can choose from, and this doesn't necessarily directly correlate with my major, but I wanted something more within like the international and global studies realm. So it was really easy for me to add that, and I'm still able to have a double major and graduate on time in 4 years with adding a minor. So very flexible, and definitely recommend looking through those.
Yeah, I would just add, I'm also doing 2 minors in our College of ACES, or Agricultural, Consumer, and Environmental Sciences. And like everything Ellie said, it is super, super flexible adding a minor. For some programs, you do have to declare kind of early to just be able to go into those classes, because some classes will be restricted to people in that program. So that's kind of what I ended up doing, was declaring kind of early. But I actually ended up dropping one of the minors I declared and picking a new one, which also was just like a very easy process. It's literally usually just like a single form page. You meet with an advisor maybe. So adding minors, I think, is such a cool way to just enhance like your personal knowledge and your resume and your degree. And yeah, it's a very, very easy, flexible process to do that here.
Great, excellent. Thanks for sharing your experiences with that. Great. Okay, so let me see if any other questions have come in. It doesn't look like we have any come in yet. So I will go on ahead and ask you guys some questions, and then if we get some more, I'm happy to get those answered for you guys. So can you talk a little bit about why you chose Illinois, what really drew you to campus, and what's making you stay at Illinois? Can you talk a little bit about that?
I was not interested in going to Illinois. I looked at so many other schools, but finally when my parents sat me down and made me go on a tour, it clicked. I really liked it here. It's about an hour and a half from my hometown, so it's a nice distance far away where my parents can't come all the time, but also when I need them or if I need something, they're able to get here. And I would say what has kept me here is all the cool experiences and everything that I've been able to get involved with. I have a huge group of friends, which I never really had a solid, large group of friends in high school. So it's so cool to have all these different organizations where I can connect with different people who are passionate about different things that I'm also passionate about.
Yeah, so kind of similar to Lauren, I was definitely not decided on coming to Illinois early on. I was very much down to the wire picking in college my senior year of high school. I was between Illinois and two other really, really good schools, but what ended up drawing me here was that my major is just super, super unique, not something you'll find on most campuses. And I just really could see myself here doing that program and just living my life. So I figured that would be a good reason. And I would say what's kept me here is that I think I just really found myself on my time here as like as a person in my personal life, as a professional, figuring out what I want to do, as a student, just all these different identities that you can find about yourself. I think I found all those here. And like Lauren said too, I just found all these like wonderful friends and things that I'm involved in, and just formed a lot of relationships that will really last past college. And I can definitely attribute a lot of things about our school to enabling my experience.
Yeah, for me, I knew that I wanted a large university. Particularly, I was really interested in the Big Ten Conference. So obviously, being from Illinois, U of I was one of the options that I looked into. And then when I went on a tour and was able to kind of learn more about the program that I was going into, I really decided that it would be the best option for me. And then coming here, I'm very, very happy with my decision. I've met so many people across all different majors, which I think is something that I really liked about it, because you're able to meet such like a diverse group of people from coming to us or going to such a large university, and it really just keeps it exciting. And every year I'm always so happy to come back to campus and to go meet new people. So definitely recommend, and I've loved my time here so far.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. And so kind of going off of what you guys said about organizations and how you really created that friend group for you here and built that community, how can students get involved in organizations? I know, it's a large campus, and so that can be a little intimidating to some people. And so how can you get involved on campus? What tools did you use? Can you talk a little bit about that?
So on the first week of school after you move in, there's this big event on the Sunday before classes start, which is called Quad Day. And it is a little bit overwhelming, but just about every single registered student organization sets up a table. And then I went last year with my friends that I had just made in the dorms like 3 or 4 days before. And we walked around, we looked at all the tables, we signed up for things we were interested in. And then after that, I kind of evaluated what I signed up for and kind of shortened my list to things that I really was interested in and wanted to do. It's really cool, and you get a lot of free stuff and get to meet some people and find organizations that you maybe would have never guessed you could have had the opportunity to join in college.
Yeah, so I'll take this question kind of more down the making friends avenue. And something I would definitely like to highlight is that I think working in college is a great thing to do for, of course, you get money and also just a really good way to meet people. I've been doing this job since I was a freshman here, which is crazy. So I met a lot of the people on staff here when I was still making friends. And now some of those people have become my really good friends. And I've made good friends in my other job and the clubs that I'm in. And the other thing I would highlight is that in college, I don't know if this is like an Illinois specific thing or just a thing in general in college, but myself and so many people I know, most of my really close friends now are just people that I had mutual friends with that I met throughout the years. So definitely just being open to meeting people, and just because like the person that lives next to you in your residence hall is not your best friend in the world doesn't mean that they don't have friends that you'd be good friends with or involvements that you're interested in. So I think just being really open to the process of getting involved and making friends is a really good avenue to take freshman year.
Yeah, I think they both had great advice for that. I think one thing that I would maybe add, just going on the resident hall experience, is there's a lot of different opportunities to get involved. So there's different living learning communities that you can get involved with. So that's a great way to meet people that have similar interests with you, as well as once you're in the university residence halls, you're going to have a resident advisor who's going to plan activities, so you'll be able to meet the people that live in your hall, and that's just a great way to meet a lot of people pretty quickly. And then obviously it's nice to be able to hang out with them and to live in the same building as them. So definitely recommend getting involved with either like your hall council or applying for a living learning community.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, guys. And so we have one final question that's come up, which is a great question. What percentage of your time is spent in classes, on studying, or on social activities? So can you talk a little bit about that breakdown? And I'm sure it can vary depending on the major that you're in, but can you talk a little bit about your experiences?
For me personally, this is varied semester by semester also. My freshman year, first semester, I probably spent about 15 hours a week in an actual class, a little bit less than that. And then studying would depend. I never really studied in high school, so I had to learn and pick that up. But probably doing studying or homework like an hour or so a day. And then most of the time, the rest of that was spent like socializing, hanging out with my friends and meeting people, going to other organizations, events, and things like that. But this year, it's been a little bit different because a lot of classes are online. So I have some classes that are asynchronous, so they do not meet at all. So instead of being actually in a class, I have the opportunity to just watch lecture videos and do it more on my own time. And then I also have classes that are synchronous. So it really just depends on how your schedule's laid out.
Yeah, everything Lauren said is very fitting. I would say that to give a more, I guess, my own unique perspective, I think that I, as a student, am really, really bad with STEM topics, yet I am voluntarily in a STEM major. So I think for me, that means that I spend a lot of time studying, doing homework, preparing for tests. Like final season is just very stressful. But I will definitely say that it's gotten better throughout the years, because I think when you're like a freshman and sophomore, it's more about learning concepts, and then as you get older, it's about more applying those concepts. So I feel like I definitely spend less time studying now than I did 2 years ago. But I've always, even when I was in like the depth of my really hard classes, I always just tried to make sure I had time. Like if I wanted to go to a club, I made sure I had that time like blocked out every week to go to that meeting, or I always make sure my day to see my friends, even if it's just studying together or having like a quick meal or a coffee together. There's always, it's just so important to kind of like continually foster those relationships and your involvements in life. So it's definitely balanced. Like Lauren said, it's definitely something for me as well that just changes like every semester. Every semester is so different with like classes and workload and stuff. So I think in general, all of us, we just adapt to what the changes each semester. But yeah, it's a little bit about my experience specifically.
Yeah, mine's definitely one that's similar where it depends on the semester. Something that was really helpful for me after my freshman year was I actually went to an advisor and kind of planned out the next 3 years. So then that way they know kind of what the class load is like for each of those classes, and they were able to help me kind of plan ahead. So that's definitely a resource that's helped me, have like better time management and understand like what I'm going into each semester. So definitely there's resources out there if you need some extra support, or you want to, if you're like me and just like to have, planning ahead and have a schedule plan. But it definitely depends on the semester. And I think the university has done a really good job with this semester with having a variety of course loads and still supporting their students. And I felt that even though this semester has been a little bit different, it's definitely still learned a lot and still been able to manage everything and still keep my involvement in different RSOs.
Okay, excellent. Thank you guys for sharing your perspective. We really do appreciate it. So that, I think, is all the questions we have today. So I just wanted to highlight a few other things here. So Lauren put in the virtual visits page in the chat. So feel free to take a look at that for other ways you can connect with us virtually. There's a lot of great options. If you haven't been to campus yet, there is a virtual tour that you can take. If you want to kind of get a sense of what campus looks like, I definitely encourage you to do that. But that's a great page to bookmark. We're continually adding to that. So feel free to keep up with that and sign up for any sessions that you have an interest in. But thank you guys so much for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.